everyone, and welcome. It's Chef Jason Morse, race hardware grill expert, and we're back again for another one of our Red Vest approved videos. Today's video is all about jerky. That's right, we love making jerky. We enjoy eating jerky. Heck, we have jerky in our trucks all the time because it's a great protein-filled, power-filled snack. But I'll tell you what, it stings sometimes buying jerky in the store because it's pretty expensive. So we came up with a really cool Chef Jay's Island Jerky, a little Hawaiian-style jerky for you to make on your Traeger. And I'll tell you, it's amazing. We have happily tested this quite a few times. So we're gonna show you a little bit of our food flow. We're talking a little bit about our ingredients. We're even gonna show you how we get the grill fired up, what pellets we're using. And I'd say, let's get cooking. Well, we're getting the Traeger ready, and I think one of the important things to know too is we've got a couple settings on here. We have a smoke setting, which runs at about 165, and we have a 180 degree setting. That's gonna be the next setting up. We're gonna go ahead and set this at 180 degrees. We wanna make sure that it keeps it a little bit stronger. We know if it's cold outside, if it's windy, that 165 sometimes will give us an LER code. So my tip for you, make sure you keep it nice and strong at 180 degrees. We changed out the foil on the Traeger so that we've got a nice pristine environment ready to do all things wonderful for our jerky. And as you can see, we've got our reserve blend pellets as well. Those are exclusive to Ace Hardware. We love these pellets. A beautiful flavor of oak, cherry, and apple. They do a fantastic job really at a lot of our smoke projects. But for today, we're gonna go ahead and set that Traeger at 180 degrees. We've got it all blended up and ready to go with our reserve pellets. So next up, we're gonna show you how to get the marinade going, and we'll be into jerky before you know it. Well, we talked about getting that Traeger started and fired up. We got it set at 180 degrees. We've got the reserve blend pellets in there. Talk a little bit about our ingredients here. The beauty of these ingredients is we're cleaning this up a little bit. We don't have any sulfites or nitrites or anything like that. We're just going with some good, solid ingredients that are gonna help make our jerky really stand out from a flavor standpoint and make a huge difference in what we're eating and the ingredients we use. And we're gonna go with some pineapple juice, some dark brown sugar, which gives it that really deep, rich molasses. We've got some white sesame seeds, some soy sauce. We're gonna use our Oink Rub just to give it that maple bacon kind of brown sugar finish to it. We use our happy ending barbecue sauce to give it that island style flair. Toasted sesame oil, which is absolutely beautiful. And then we've got a cider vinegar. We're using apple cider vinegar that is unfiltered and natural. So it's gonna have a little bit of the mother in it. It's gonna be a very, very good solid flavor. Then the meat we're gonna use today, we're using some top round. And we had our butcher slice it nice and thin, and we left it in a little bit bigger pieces because we're gonna actually go through and cut these so we get some smaller pieces. The nice thing is our jerky's gonna come out in a good consistent piece. It's gonna smoke evenly. We don't have a lot of fat on here. Really, really solid performing jerky that I think you're going to enjoy it pretty solidly too. So we'll go ahead and get this mixed up next, and we'll show you how we get everything in the marinade. We're gonna wrap it after we marinate it, let it sit in the fridge overnight, at least 12 to 16 hours. And then we're gonna go ahead, like I said, get it in that 180 degree smoke on that Traeger, let it go for about 4.5 hours. And we're gonna have some pretty epic tasting jerky. So we'll get started next and show you how we mix up our marinade. One of the first things we need to do before we get started on the jerky is get our beef top round kind of cut into smaller pieces. And as you can see, this is a pretty large piece, so I cut them into thirds. One of the things I want to point out is don't worry about this browning that you see here. That's actually oxidation from the beef touching other beef in the package. So don't worry about that, it's totally normal. That's what happens. You can see here as I take this apart, we experience the same thing. So that's normal, don't sweat it. I'll get this guy out of the package, and then what I'm gonna do is just go through and basically, with my chef's knife, I'm gonna cut it into thirds because I don't want too big of a piece. That's gonna be a beautiful piece of jerky right there. And as you can see, that's our 5 pounds of beef. So we'll make the marinade next. We'll get this guy put back in the refrigerator. We'll get the marinade made, and then we're gonna blend the two of them together. Time to make our marinade, and what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go ahead and add our 1.5 cups of Happy Ending, so about 12 ounces of Happy Ending. We'll get that all set in there, and this is gonna be nice because this is gonna give us the start of that island style flavor. We're gonna add a 1.5 cups of soy sauce as well, and if you wanna lighten it up a little bit, light soy sauce works great in here as well. If you're gluten-free, tamari is something that you can use as well that will help out being gluten-free. So we're gonna add the soy sauce. We're gonna go ahead and add our pineapple juice as well while the soy sauce does its thing. We'll get this all mixed in there. We'll add our second can. Soy sauce is good. Pineapple juice is good. We're gonna add our Oink Rub, and here's where you can go as much or as little as you want. I put on the recipe to taste, We're gonna go ahead and add that. I've got about 3 tablespoons in there right now. We're gonna go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of toasted sesame oil. That, I think, just gives it a really nice finish as well. And on the cider vinegar, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of cider vinegar. That acid helps out develop some of the flavor, keeps things going nice and good on the marinade. So next up, we're gonna add brown sugar. I say about a 1/2 cup. If you want it a little bit sweeter, you can definitely add a little bit more if you want. We'll go with about a 1/2 cup in there. And we're set. And then we'll add about 2 tablespoons of white sesame seeds. I like to pour 1 and 1, we'll get all that done. And now the easy part, we've got everything in there. We're just gonna go ahead and mix this and make our marinade. And again, if you like a little bit more vinegar, you can add a little bit more. If you'd like a little bit less vinegar, you like a little more brown sugar as well. What we're trying to do is get that beef to marinate really nice, soak up as much of this flavor as possible, and turn into a very, very delicious beef jerky. All right, we got this all mixed up here. Let's go ahead now and bring the beef over. And what we're gonna do is add our beef in there. We're gonna be very careful. We wanna add it in there slowly. I'm making sure I separate the beef so that it's not stuck together in clumps, because I want every piece to get a little marinade. So we'll get all that in. Then we're gonna go ahead and mix it into the marinade as well. So we'll get the rest of the beef added like that. We've got all that set. And now we're gonna go ahead and just mix this in. And we're looking to get it coated. We want everything to get covered, everything to get coated, everything to what we call soak. We want everything to be soaking beautifully overnight. 12 hours, 16 hours works perfect. Anything more, and I feel like I get a little bit too salty of a jerky. And like I said before, some of the tips that we said were use a low sodium soy sauce, or a tamari if you're gluten-free. Lots of fun tips in here. The recipe is totally editable and customizable for you. But that's what we have right there. We've got this all set. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and cover this with plastic wrap so that we can get this set for the fridge for its overnight little, what we call, like I said, the soak. We'll let this guy go. We've got that all covered. We're gonna go ahead and let this sit in the fridge overnight for about 12 hours. When we come out, you'll see a definite change in here. You'll see this meat starts to get a lot darker because it's really sucked up all the flavor and all the coloring, caramel color, brown sugar, and it just smells fantastic. So we'll see you back here when it's time to go from fridge to the Traeger. Well, there you can see, look at that. That stuff sat for about 15 hours, got a really nice soak, and now what we're gonna do is go ahead and just lay this all in here and get our beef jerky ready to smoke. So we have the Traeger once again set at 180 degrees. We have our reserve blend pellets, which is oak, apple, cherry. We're gonna go ahead and get these guys lined up, and then 4 to 4.5 hours, depending on how you like your jerky. 4 hours usually on this size meat, this thickness works out perfect for me, but we'll go ahead and get it all loaded, and then we're gonna get it smoking. And like I said, 4 to 4.5 hours, we are jerky ready. We have the Traeger all loaded. It's time to shut the lid and let that go. 4.5 hours. I won't even look at this for probably another 2 hours, but we'll give it a check in a couple hours. We'll come back, see where it's at, and go from there. About halfway through, you can see we've got some beautiful smoke going in here, and we're just gonna keep letting this go until we get it all set and ready. We're about 2 hours in, so we're gonna look at it again in another 2 hours, which will put us at the 4-hour mark. We are done. There you have it, a Traeger full of beef jerky that you created. So the cool part is you download the recipe, you create it, you pick the ingredients, you can tweak it and adjust it to make it exactly what you want. That is what this is all about. This beef jerky is fantastic. This is our island style. And once again, you can grab this recipe by going to acehardware.com. Go to our tips and advice. In the search bar, type in recipes. You'll find this recipe and many more. Thank you so much for letting us cook with you today. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon on another one of our Red Vest approved videos. I'm Chef Jason Morris, Ace Hardware Grill Expert. Happy cooking.